You won't believe this moment, because it wasn't supposed to happen, not here, not live, not on Oprah's stage in front of millions of people watching, but it did. And once it did, the world couldn't look away. A man stepped forward, not a politician, not a superstar, but an actor playing Jesus on television who suddenly became far more than that, Jonathan Roumie, and in that moment, he wasn't just playing a role, he was living it. And Oprah Winfrey, arguably the most influential woman in media, wasn't just interviewing a guest. She was standing face to face with a calling she never expected to feel so strongly, so urgently, and so publicly. This is the story of the night Jonathan Roumie helped Oprah give her life to God on live TV, a night that shook millions, a night people are still whispering about, a night that, if you listen closely, might just change everything for you too. Pause. Music swells. Let's go back. It started simple enough. Oprah had invited Jonathan Roumie onto her show to discuss The Chosen, the hit series. The unexpected cultural phenomenon. The retelling of Jesus' life that was breaking records and breaking hearts wide open. She introduced him warmly, her usual grace wrapping the moment, but you could feel it. Even through the screen, you could feel the weight in her voice. This show, she said, pausing, searching for words. It's stirring something in me. Something I haven't felt in a long time. The audience clapped. Roumie smiled gently, nodding as though he already knew what she meant. And then quietly, he leaned forward and said words that made the studio fall still. Oprah, he whispered, almost tenderly, that's not the show. That's him. The crowd hushed. You could almost hear people breathing, and Oprah, for the first time in decades on television, was speechless. At first, she laughed, a nervous laugh, a deflection. She leaned back in her chair, hands folded. Oh, don't start preaching to me, Jonathan, she said, half joking, half pleading. The audience chuckled, but Roumie didn't. His eyes stayed locked on hers, not judging, not pressing, just present. And then he said quietly, I'm not here to preach. I'm here to remind. Those words cut through. The laughter faded. The silence grew thick again, and Oprah's smile faded into something else, something raw, something vulnerable. And here's where the story takes its turn. Because Oprah has always believed in something bigger. She's spoken for years about spirituality, about the universe, about energy and light. But that night, sitting across from a man who played Jesus with such sincerity, something deeper began stirring. You could see it in her eyes. She wasn't interviewing anymore. She was wrestling with the weight of her own heart, with questions she had tucked away, with doubts and memories and prayers she thought she had left behind. Roumie saw it, and he didn't look away. Instead, he leaned closer, and softly, he asked her a question. Oprah, do you believe he's real? Not an idea. Not a symbol. But real. The audience gasped. It wasn't the kind of question you ask Oprah Winfrey. Not on live TV, not without expecting a storm. But Roumie asked anyway. And then he waited. The silence stretched. Seconds felt like minutes. And finally, Oprah closed her eyes and whispered, yes, I do. Climactic music builds. Heavier now. That was the moment, the crack in the wall, the moment the facade slipped and the soul stepped out. Oprah admitted it on the air, in front of millions. She believed. But the story didn't end there. Because belief is one thing, surrender is another, and that's what was coming next. The interview shifted. It wasn't scripted anymore. It wasn't about ratings. It wasn't about The Chosen. It was about the choice in that room. Roumie spoke softly, but firmly. He told her stories, about his own faith, about nights when he didn't know how he'd keep going, about the moments God showed up when no one else did. And Oprah listened, really listened. For once, she wasn't guiding the conversation. She wasn't shaping it. She was receiving it. And you could see her wrestling with every word. At one point, she asked him, but what if I've gotten it wrong? What if I've misled people? Roumie didn't flinch. He leaned forward again, voice breaking with sincerity. Then let him redeem it. That's what he does. He takes what's broken, what's lost, what's misunderstood, and he makes it whole. He makes you whole. And that was it. That was the strike of lightning. Oprah's eyes filled. Her voice trembled. And in a moment that nobody expected, she whispered, then I want that. Right now. Here. The studio erupted, not in applause, not in shock, but a kind of holy silence. Like the air itself bowed down. Roumie reached across the table, took her hand.
And right there, on live television, Jonathan Roumie led Oprah Winfrey in prayer. Not a rehearsed speech, not a polished performance, just a raw, trembling surrender. Jesus, she whispered, tears falling. I give you my life. The words hung in the air like thunder. And when she finished, when the final amen left her lips, the audience, many in tears themselves, finally erupted in applause. People were on their feet. Some were praying, some were sobbing. And the cameras kept rolling, broadcasting one of the most unexpected, unscripted moments in modern television history. And here's the truth. That moment didn't just change Oprah. It changed the millions watching. Across the country, across the world. People who had grown weary, people who had doubted, people who had drifted away from faith, suddenly found themselves weeping in front of their screens. Because it wasn't just Oprah's prayer, it was their own. And it was Jonathan Roumie, this quiet, humble actor, who carried the weight of that moment. Who chose to speak when it would have been easier to stay silent. Who chose to risk it all for the chance to point one soul, one very public, very influential soul, back to God. And in doing so, reached millions. Pause. Music softens, reflective now. Now here's the part that matters most. The story isn't about fame, it isn't about television, it isn't even really about Oprah or Jonathan Roumie. It's about you. Because if you're listening to this, if you felt something stir in you while hearing it, then maybe, just maybe, that same voice is whispering to you too. The same voice that broke through the bright lights of a studio. The same voice that cut through years of doubt and questions. The same voice that reached Oprah Winfrey herself and turned her tears into surrender. That voice is calling you. Right now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. And the question is, will you listen? Will you let him in? Because that night wasn't just for Oprah. It was for everyone watching. It was for everyone listening. It was for you. And maybe, just maybe, this is your moment too. Pause. Gentle piano fades in. Millions saw a woman surrender her heart to God. But tonight, this story reaches you. And the choice, though, is yours. Don't let it pass by.